Introduction: The Forgotten Knowledge of the Templars. Zoran's opening reflections. Greetings, curious travelers. I am Zoran, a dragon with eyes that have witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. But one of the most intriguing groups I encountered were the Templars. Their story, much like my own, has long been shrouded in mystery and misinterpretation. What the world often forgets is that the Templars were more than just warriors. They were seekers of truth, deeply connected to esoteric wisdom that transcended time and geography. As you journey with me through this tale, you will discover that the Templars were not merely bound to the tenets of Western Christianity, but had an inner circle of knowledge steeped in the sacred traditions of the East. From the wisdom of the yogis to the teachings of the Jains and the deep mysticism of the Buddhists, the Templars forged a spiritual path built upon experience rather than dogma. In the forgotten shadows of their history, a remarkable truth: the Templars were explorers of consciousness, bridging the East and West in a quest for spiritual liberation, rediscovering the hidden paths. Many stories about the Templars focus on their military prowess or their tragic end, but few venture into the hidden paths. They walked paths that led them far beyond the rigid doctrines of the Church. You see, dear reader, the Templars were not just warriors of the sword, but warriors of the spirit. After their travels to the Holy Land, they came into contact with mystics, sages, and ascetics from the East, whose knowledge would forever transform the Templar order. It is these forgotten paths of wisdom, long concealed beneath layers of myth and misunderstanding, that we shall uncover together. The Templars learned that true mastery did not lie in conquering land, but in conquering the self. Through meditation, ritual, and a deep connection to nature and the cosmos, they sought to understand the universe not through books or sermons, but through direct experience, just as the sages of the East had done for millennia. In our journey, you will rediscover these hidden practices and forgotten truths that united East and West. The Templars' spiritual path was not a deviation from Christianity, but rather an expansion of it, one that embraced the wisdom of the ancient world. Through this fusion, they discovered profound insights about the nature of reality, the mind, and the soul that remain relevant to this day. The mystery of Templar wisdom. The mystery of Templar wisdom. The world has long speculated about their secret knowledge. Legends of sacred treasures, mysterious relics, and hidden symbols have captivated imaginations for centuries. But what, you may wonder, was the real secret? Their greatest treasure was not a physical object, but something far more valuable: the knowledge of inner transformation. The Templars had access to teachings that would later be associated with the mystical traditions of the East. Their encounters with Sufis, yogis, and Buddhist monks offered them a profound insight into the workings of the mind, body, and spirit. This wisdom became the foundation for many of their esoteric rituals, guiding them in their quest for spiritual awakening. But why the secrecy, you ask? Well, the world of medieval Europe was not ready for such radical ideas. The institutional church would not have tolerated the Templars' adoption of practices that diverged from its teachings. So, the Templars kept their esoteric knowledge closely guarded, passing it down only to those who were ready to walk the path of initiation. This secrecy has fueled centuries of speculation, but in truth, the wisdom they carried was universal, available to all who seek it with an open heart. An overview of the Eastern influences. Let us turn our gaze eastward, where the Templars drew much of their hidden wisdom. As they traveled across the lands of the Holy Land, Egypt, and beyond, they encountered spiritual traditions that were profoundly different from the dogma of the Church. These traditions, rooted in the ancient practices of the yogis, the Jains, and the Buddhists, provided the Templars with a new lens through which to view the world. From the yogis, they learned the power of meditation and breath control. The Templars were introduced to techniques for calming the mind and awakening spiritual energy, much like the practice of Kundalini Yoga. The idea that the body was a temple housing divine energy resonated deeply with the Templars, leading them to adopt practices that focused on inner purification and mastery over one's thoughts and emotions. The Jains introduced them to the concept of ahimsa, or non-violence, which shaped the Templars' understanding of ethical conduct. Though paradoxical for a group of warrior monks, the Templars learned to integrate this principle into their lives, seeking to minimize harm, even as they navigated the violence of their time. The Jains also imparted a deep respect for all living beings and the importance of discipline through fasting and self-control practices that became integral to the Templar way of life. From the Buddhists, the Templars adopted the concept of the middle way, a path that balanced asceticism with the demands of everyday life. The Templars understood the impermanence of the material world and embraced the idea of spiritual awakening through mindfulness and meditation. They came to see their earthly battles not as ends in themselves, but as metaphors for the internal struggle to conquer ignorance and desire. These Eastern influences reshaped the Templar order, moving it away from a focus on external conquests toward an inner journey of self-mastery and enlightenment. The Templars' secret was that they had woven these Eastern spiritual teachings into the fabric of their own practices, creating a unique blend of East and West that allowed them to transcend the limitations of their time. Zoran's closing thoughts on the chapter. As your guide, I invite you to reflect on the wisdom of the Templars and their embrace of Eastern thought. In a time where the world was sharply divided between East and West, between Christianity and the so-called heathen traditions, the Templars chose a different path, one of unity and integration. Their journey teaches us that the boundaries between East and West, between religion and mysticism, are far more fluid than we might imagine. As we continue this exploration, remember, the path the Templars walked is not lost. It is a path that we can all rediscover if we are willing to seek it. Together, we will walk in their footsteps, guided by the wisdom they uncovered in the hidden corners of the world. Let us set forth with open hearts and minds, ready to uncover the forgotten knowledge of the Templars.